Hello and welcome back to The Deep Dive. This is the show that, well, cuts through the noise, gets straight to the knowledge you need to navigate, this incredibly fast-moving world we're in. Today, we're zooming in on something that's, frankly, keeping a lot of business leaders awake at night. It doesn't matter if you're a startup or a massive corporation.
Right.
It's how to handle this relentless pace of digital evolution. I mean, it's exciting, no doubt, but also super complex. And it's packed with challenges.
Yeah, huge challenges, especially for a really critical part of any organization.
Yeah.
The IT department.
Yeah.
For so many companies, their traditional IT structures, the ones built for, a totally different time, they're just not equipped. Not equipped to handle the demands of digital transformation today.
It's like trying to win a Formula One race with a horse and buggy, isn't it?
That's a good way to put it, yeah. So today, we're going to dive deep into exactly that. The critical IT challenges in supporting these evolving business needs. And we'll be drawing our insights from some expert materials, specifically looking at cloud infrastructure and services, guiding you through a key module on driving digital transformation.
Right, so our mission for you today is pretty clear. We want to unpack these challenges, really get under the hood to understand their root causes, and then reveal how this strategic shift, which is fundamentally enabled by cloud computing, isn't just like a nice optional extra.
No, not at all.
It's become the essential roadmap for survival, for innovation, for actual success. So if you're looking for a shortcut to really understanding why your organization, or frankly any organization, has to embrace this digital change, well, you're definitely in the right place.
Let's do it.
Consider us your guides through this essential lesson. Let's unpack this.
The unrelenting pressure of digital disruption on business.
Okay, so to set the stage, let's talk about digital disruption itself, because it's not just a buzzword, is it? It's not some abstract concept.
Not at all. It's very real.
It's tangible. It's happening all around us in, well, pretty much every single industry. And it's hitting businesses where it hurts most.
Right. Their market share, their bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw those reports. Remember that one from IDC? It predicted that by 2018, and just think, that feels like a while ago now.
Yeah, time flies.
That digitally enabled competitors would disrupt a significant 33% of all industry leaders.
A third. That's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Imagine a third of the top players in your specific industry suddenly finding their position challenged, maybe even completely overturned.
By these, agile digital native upstarts.
Right. It signifies this fundamental, undeniable shift in how businesses operate, how they compete, even how they define themselves.
It truly is. And this disruption, it isn't just a wave hitting the shore. It's more like a relentless accelerating current. And it forces organizations to transform digitally at a pace that honestly was unimaginable just, say, 10 years ago.
So what's the main driver behind that speed?
The primary driver. It's the absolute necessity to satisfy modern customer expectations. Think about it.
Okay.
In our personal lives, we're just soaked in instant gratification, personalization, seamless digital experiences.
Yeah, you expect it everywhere.
You do. And we expect that same level of service, that responsiveness from every single business we interact with. It doesn't matter what industry they're in.
Right.
And these heightened expectations, they're a direct result of this powerful combination, this confluence of new technology.
The third platform idea.
Exactly. Some sources call it the third platform of IT growth. And it's not just a list of buzzwords, It's the real convergence of mobile, cloud, big data analytics, and social technologies.
And how they connect.
It's the powerful interconnection that creates these unprecedented demands and, well, also the opportunities we're talking about.
Okay, so these technologies change expectations, which forces transformation. How are successful companies actually using software to respond?
Fundamentally, the organizations that are succeeding in this new environment, they're applying software in some really key transformative ways.
Like what?
Okay. First, they're using it for estimating future requirements and spotting entirely new opportunities. This isn't your old school market research anymore.
No.
No. It's about shifting from being reactive, looking backwards, to being proactive. Almost predictive.
Predicting the future.
Kind of. These emerging opportunities are increasingly based on information, relying heavily on deep data insights to predict market shifts or what consumers might want next, or even entirely new niches that don't exist yet.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about a company like a Netflix. They use viewing data, right? but not just to recommend shows you might like.
Right, that's the obvious part.
Yeah, but they go deeper. They use that data to decide which new shows to greenlight, how much to invest in certain types of content.
Ah, so it's driving their actual business strategy.
Yeah, precisely. That's a Blinkist-level insight right there. Data isn't just about understanding the past. It's become the new crystal ball for future market opportunities. It's how they fundamentally change the whole content creation game.
That's a fascinating pivot. Using software not just for operations, but for genuine business foresight.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next key application?
Second, software is absolutely crucial for delivering personalized experiences. Just think about what the big consumer companies are doing on your phone right now.
Okay, yeah, Amazon recommendations.
Right, those Amazon recommendations that feel almost uncannily accurate sometimes, or custom-tailored news feeds on social media, geolocated offers popping up as you walk past a store. It's all about tailoring interactions, making every single touch point feel unique, relevant, and timely to you, the individual.
And that's not just a gimmick, is it?
Oh, definitely not. This personalization isn't just a nice-to-have. It's become a core expectation that drives customer loyalty and, let's be honest, revenue. If you're not doing it effectively, your competitors probably are.
So it's about deeply understanding and anticipating individual needs. And I guess that ties into the next point, the speed of innovation. That sounds related.
It absolutely does. Third, organizations are leveraging software to innovate in an agile way. This is a huge departure from the old way of doing things.
You mean those massive multi-year projects?
Exactly. Those big bang projects that took forever and might have been irrelevant by the time they launched. Agile means incrementally delivering better solutions, constantly adapting based on feedback from the market, from actual users.
So smaller steps, faster releases.
Right. Releasing updates and new features much, much faster, often in weeks, not months or years. This iterative approach lets businesses test ideas quickly, fail fast if something isn't working.
And pivot without wasting tons of resources.
Precisely. It drastically improves their speed to market and their overall responsiveness.
That makes perfect sense. In a market moving this fast, you just can't afford to spend years building something that might be obsolete on day one. What about operating in real time?
Fourth point, yeah. The ability to operate in real time. Think about capitalizing on rapidly shifting market opportunities, or responding instantly to customer queries, or managing dynamic, complex supply chains.
It all demands immediate action.
It does. Software is the engine that allows businesses to react to these changing market dynamics in the moment. Consider like a ride-sharing app. It's dynamically matching drivers to riders in real time.
Or high-frequency trading.
Or a financial trading platform executing millions of trades in milliseconds. These things are simply impossible without real-time software capabilities, and they are critical competitive differentiators today.
And the last point you mentioned feels incredibly vital, especially now, given everything we hear about security and privacy.
Absolutely. Finally, and this is crucial, software is used to demonstrate transparency and trust. In a world where we see increasingly sophisticated security threats, massive data breaches seem almost commonplace.
Yeah, you hear about them all the time.
And there are growing concerns about data privacy. Think GDPR, CCPA, all those regulations. Proving to your customers, to your partners, that you are trustworthy, that their data is secure. It's paramount.
It's table stakes now.
It really is. Software-driven security measures, transparent data handling policies, robust compliance frameworks, they're not optional anymore. They're absolutely foundational for maintaining customer confidence and avoiding, well, significant reputational and financial damage. Your digital reputation is just as important as your physical one.
Wow. So software really has become this incredibly multifaceted competitive weapon. It enables everything from, like you said, strategic foresight and deep customer connections, all the way to agile innovation and that foundational trust.
Okay, but if that's the battle being fought externally, what's happening inside the organization? Inside the IT department, what are the concrete day-to-day challenges businesses are grappling with as they try to keep up with all this? Yeah, that's where the rudder meets the road internally. The research points to several major business challenges that stem directly from this digital imperative we've been discussing.
Right.
First, there's the pervasive and, frankly, increasingly complex issue of ubiquitous access to data. Just think about how commonplace activities like web searches, social networking, emailing, uploading, downloading content, sharing media, how normal that all is now.
It's constant.
It is, and it's not just casual usage. The explosive rise of mobile devices, the widespread adoption of cloud computing, and the proliferation of the Internet of Things, IoT, it all means truly anytime worldwide data access via any device.
So data is everywhere, accessible from everywhere.
Right. And it's not just about people having access. It also means a massive, constantly accelerating volume of data being generated from countless sources, often at mind-boggling speeds.
The sheer volume is staggering.
It is. And there's this increasing desire, really a business necessity, to process and analyze this data in real time or near real time. You need to get actionable insights before the opportunity vanishes.
Like what?
Well, imagine a retailer wanting to know what customers are saying about their brand new product on social media right now so they can address any issues immediately.
Okay.
Or a logistics company needing to track every single parcel in real time across the globe just to optimize delivery routes. The sheer scale and the speed required are incredibly daunting.
That sounds like managing a constant, overwhelming flood of information. It's not just about collecting data anymore. You have to make sense of it, like instantaneously. That's a whole new level of challenge. What else are businesses struggling with under this pressure?
Another key business challenge, and this ties directly into the speed of disruption we mentioned, is the urgent need to accurately predict and plan for future businesses to capture entirely new revenue streams.
So not just improving the current business, but creating new ones.
Exactly. With disruptive forces like mobile and IoT constantly reshaping entire industries, organizations have to fundamentally reimagine their future digital presence. Sometimes even their core business model needs rethinking. This isn't just a minor adjustment, tweaking an existing product. It's about reinventing how they engage with customers and markets, potentially creating entirely new product categories or service offerings from scratch.
And they have to do this quickly.
Super quickly. Along with the forecasting, they need to establish these new businesses as fast as possible to take advantage of the evolving digital marketplace. This means developing smarter products, new services at speed, sometimes going from just an idea to being live in the market in a matter of months.
Because if they don't,
their competitors will.
Yeah.
The window of opportunity is constantly shrinking. Being first or even just fast to market can absolutely define who wins and who loses.
And this rapid evolution, plus all these new devices everywhere, that must create huge complexities for internal operations too, right? For governance and risk. It sounds like the traditional boundaries are just dissolving.
Absolutely. You've hit on a really crucial point there about the shifting boundaries. The widespread use of tablets and smartphones for accessing organizational data from, anywhere, different locations, home offices, coffee shops.
Yeah, everywhere but the office sometimes.
Right. It causes significant challenges related to governance and risk. Think about an employee accessing sensitive company information on their personal phone from a public Wi-Fi network.
Yes.
Or handling customer data from their home network. This creates a vastly expanded attack surface for cyber threats, and it introduces entirely new compliance headaches around things like data residency and privacy laws.
So IT's control is slipping.
It forces a fundamental paradigm shift. You move away from traditional desktop-centric management, where IT largely controlled the device and the network perimeter.
Right, the old castle and moat approach.
Exactly. You move towards what's now known as mobile device management, or MDM. IT's role has had to adapt dramatically to try and secure and manage this increasingly mobile remote workforce and their endless variety of devices, all while trying to ensure data integrity and regulatory compliance. It's a massive balancing act.
The core IT department challenges.
Okay, let's really unpack this then. We've painted this vivid picture, right? Immense business pressures, digital disruption, changing customer expectations, this explosion of data and devices.
It's a lot.
Now, how does all that relentless external pressure ripple through the organization and land on the teams actually tasked with keeping the digital lights on? What are the internal hurdles? What are IT departments really grappling with as they try to keep pace with a world that's just moving too fast for their old ways of working?
That is the crucial question, isn't it? Because those common business challenges we just discussed, the shrinking opportunities, the rising competition, the huge implications of mobile, cloud, big data, IoT.
All that stuff.
And that constant crushing pressure on time to market. These forces directly expose critical weaknesses in, what we call traditional IT.
How so?
Often, the very structure and the operational model of IT, the way it's always been done, may be carefully built for a different, slower era, That structure itself becomes the bottleneck. It actively prevents the business from seizing those opportunities we talked about.
Right. So what are those specific weaknesses? When we say traditional IT is struggling, what does that actually look like on the ground? Where are the cracks really showing?
Well, our sources, the materials we're drawing from, they clearly point out several key IT department challenges in supporting these business needs.
Okay, let's hear them.
Firstly, a big one, aging facilities and outdated policies. Many IT environments are literally built on decades-old legacy infrastructure.
You mean old servers, old software.
Exactly. Imagine server rooms crammed with hardware that's expensive to power, expensive to cool, and it's all governed by policies and processes, workflows that simply don't align with the speed and flexibility needed today.
So it's inherently rigid.
It creates this inherent inflexibility and, frankly, crippling inefficiency. Think about a simple service request. Something like provisioning a new server or setting up a new application for a business team.
Okay.
In a traditional setup, that request might have to pass through multiple approvals across rigidly siloed teams. You've got networking, storage, compute, security.
Each with their own queue.
Each with their own distinct processes, probably different tools, their own separate timelines and priorities. This often means delays of weeks, sometimes even months, for something the business needed, like yesterday.
Wow, weeks or months.
Yeah, and that makes IT appear slow, bureaucratic, totally unresponsive to urgent business needs. It's a massive source of internal frustration for everyone involved.
So IT isn't just slow, it often gets perceived as this gatekeeper, right?
Yeah.
Rather than an enabler, purely because of its internal structure and these cumbersome procedures. That sounds incredibly frustrating for both IT and the business units.
Precisely, and that frustration, it leads directly, almost inevitably, to the next major problem, shadow IT.
Shadow IT. Heard that term a lot. What is it exactly?
It refers to those instances where business units, maybe marketing, maybe sales, maybe finance, they get so frustrated by IT's perceived slowness or its inflexibility or just its inability to meet their rapid demands.
They just bypass IT.
They bypass central IT entirely. They go out and acquire their own technology solutions. Think of a marketing team deciding to subscribe to a new SaaS application, software as a service, accessed over the web.
Because IT couldn't provide something similar fast enough.
Exactly. Or maybe IT's offering was too complex or didn't meet their specific need. While that might solve an immediate problem for that specific business unit,
It creates chaos elsewhere.
it creates massive governance, security, and management challenges for the central IT organization. You end up with this fragmented, sprawling technology landscape across the company, which leads to a dangerous lack of central control, potential data silos where information gets trapped, duplicated efforts and wasted costs because multiple departments might buy similar tools. And, most critically, significant security risks from unmanaged applications or sensitive company data residing completely outside IT's oversight and protection.
It sounds like a Wild West scenario. Must keep CIOs up at night.
It absolutely does. It's a real nightmare, losing visibility and control over your own technology landscape while simultaneously facing brand new unknown risks.
Okay, so aging infrastructure, outdated processes, and the resulting shadow IT. What else is holding traditional IT back?
Another major hurdle is simply that the existing IT equipment is often unable to support modern requirements. The current infrastructure, the stuff they already have, which is probably built for yesterday's applications and more predictable workloads,
It just can't keep up.
it simply cannot meet the demanding scalability, security, and performance requirements of today's applications, especially those third-platform apps built for mobile, cloud, big data. Modern applications are designed for dynamic, elastic environments, not rigid, fixed infrastructure.
So what's the impact?
It means IT is unable to support, say, the potential viral growth of a customer base if a new product takes off unexpectedly. They can't scale applications quickly enough to handle sudden demand spikes, or they can't rapidly deploy the new digital capabilities the business desperately needs to stay competitive.
It's like trying to run that marathon in concrete shoes, like you said earlier.
Exactly. The very hardware and software IT has in place becomes a fundamental barrier to growth and innovation.
And you mentioned siloed infrastructure earlier. You said it was a huge, pervasive issue. Can you elaborate on that? Because it really feels like it underlies a lot of these other problems.
This is absolutely fundamental, yeah. And perhaps one of the most ingrained issues in traditional IT. In the old data center model, each application type historically had its own dedicated vertical stack of resources,
Meaning?
meaning its own specific servers, its own operating systems, its own specific network configuration, its own dedicated security rules and tools, and often its own isolated storage resources, completely separate from other applications.
Like little kingdoms for each application.
That's a great analogy. Think of it like a highly specialized, totally isolated kitchen in a restaurant. One chef only makes appetizers, another only does entrees, a third only desserts. And crucially, they cannot share ingredients, equipment, or even counter space easily.
Okay, I can see the problem there.
Right. While this approach might have met individual application needs back in the day, these rigid infrastructure silos created immense operational and management challenges for IT. It led to severely limited resource sharing.
Meaning wasted capacity.
Huge amounts. One application might have vastly underutilized servers, just sitting idle burning power, while another critical application was starved for resources and performing poorly. It also dramatically increased complexity for IT staff. They had to manage multiple, disparate, often incompatible environments, each with its own quirks.
Sounds inefficient and expensive.
Terribly. This rigidity drove up costs significantly, slowed down provisioning dramatically because you had to build a whole new silo for each new thing, and made any kind of cross-functional innovation incredibly difficult. It's the absolute antithesis of the agility and collaboration needed today.
So if IT is stuck in this traditional siloed model with aging facilities, grappling with the security chaos of shadow IT, and equipped with technology that just can't keep up, it's essentially this massive, immovable bottleneck for the business's digital ambitions. It really does sound like IT is trying to push water uphill against this flood of digital demand.
Precisely. And the consequences are severe. IT becomes perpetually reactive, always fighting fires, never getting ahead, instead of being proactive or innovative.
Just keeping the lights on.
Barely, sometimes. The inability to provision resources quickly, manage these diverse environments efficiently, keep pace with exponential data growth and the dynamic demands of modern apps. It means businesses frequently miss critical market opportunities. They just can't move fast enough.
And costs go up too.
And they incur rising operating costs. Due to that inefficient resource allocation, the idle capacity, and the overwhelming need for manual time-consuming processes for almost everything. It's a lose-lose situation. And it desperately needs a fundamental shift, a complete reimagining of the entire IT operating model.
IT transformation, the shift to service centricity and cloud as the enabler.
So what does this all mean for IT then? I mean, clearly just maintaining the status quo isn't an option anymore. That traditional model, it just can't handle the pace, the demands of digital disruption. So what's the fundamental transformation required? How do we address these really deep-seated challenges we've been discussing and move IT from being that bottleneck to being a true business enabler?
The core shift, the absolute heart of the transformation needed, is for IT to transform itself from being a purely technology-centric organization focused on boxes and wires.
Right, and managing assets.
To becoming a truly service-centric organization. Now, this is a profound change. It's not just about technology. It's about mindset. It's about operations. It's about culture.
Service-centric. What does that mean in practice?
It means IT should be managed much more like an internal service business, with clear responsibilities not just for managing technology assets, but for the cost, the efficiency, and crucially, the tangible value and revenue impact of the services it provides to the rest of the organization.
So thinking like a business unit itself.
Exactly. The focus has to fundamentally change. Away from merely delivering and managing individual IT assets like servers or storage arrays, towards managing the supply and demand of comprehensive business services, services that directly contribute to hitting those overall organizational goals. It's really about delivering business outcomes, not just IT outputs.
Okay, and what does that look like day to day? How does IT actually become more like a responsive, agile service business instead of being seen as just a cost center? What are the practical implications of making such a significant shift?
Well, meeting business goals in this new paradigm, it means IT needs to be inherently flexible, highly responsive, consistently capable of providing predetermined, agreed-upon service levels for everything it delivers.
Like service level agreements, SLAs.
Exactly, but applied much more broadly and meaningfully. Think about it. If the sales team needs a new CRM system, IT shouldn't just say, okay, here are some servers, good luck.
Right.
They should deliver a service, a CRM service with guaranteed uptime, guaranteed performance, integrated support, maybe even training resources.
Complete package.
The complete package focused on the business need. And crucially, IT's accomplishments, its successes, need to be communicated differently. not in terms of server uptime percentages or the number of virtual machines they provisioned this month.
Which business leaders might not care about anyway.
Right. They need to communicate in terms that truly matter to business executives, showing how IT directly supports objectives like revenue growth, gaining competitive advantage, improving customer retention, increasing market share.
Connecting IT actions to business results.
Precisely. This strategic alignment helps build profound confidence in IT's ability to be a real strategic partner, not just a back office function that fixes laptops.
And building relationships helps too.
Absolutely critical. It also involves cultivating strong, proactive business relationships with the lines of business. IT needs to be in their planning meetings, deeply understanding their challenges, anticipating their future needs, rather than just sitting back and waiting for trouble tickets to come rolling in.
Being at the table, not just on call.
Exactly. IT needs to be at the table understanding the business strategy so it can truly deliver transformative value, not just reactive support.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting for me. We've laid out the problems, the pressures, and this vision for a service-centric IT. Now, the big question, how do we actually fix this?
Yeah.
How do we get there? Cloud computing is constantly touted as the answer, but how? How exactly does cloud serve as the catalyst for such a profound organizational and operational shift?
Yeah, this is the key enabler piece. Cloud computing is undeniably a pivotal enabler for organizations on this digital and IT transformation journey. It fundamentally changes the supply side of IT resources.
How so?
By moving to the cloud, you effectively gain access to this pool of, well, virtually unlimited and dynamic IT resources. Resources that can be provisioned incredibly rapidly, often in minutes, sometimes seconds, not weeks or months.
That addresses the speed issue directly.
And it significantly reduces costs, primarily by shifting the financial model. You move away from a heavy capital expenditure or CapEx model.
Buying lots of expensive hardware up front.
Right. Buying expensive hardware up front that might sit idle or become obsolete way too quickly, you shift to an operational expenditure or a CapEx model, often pay-per-use.
Renting instead of buying.
Essentially, yeah. You're renting computing power, storage, networking, software services, paying only for what you actually consume when you consume it. Furthermore, it inherently optimizes resource utilization because the cloud provider is managing massive pools of resources efficiently, eliminating those pockets of underutilized assets you had in your own data center.
So less waste.
Much less waste. By reducing those IT capital expenditures and optimizing resource utilization, cloud computing frees up vital investment capital for the enterprise's digital evolution and innovation. Money that was previously locked up in just owning and maintaining static, depreciating infrastructure can now be used for growth.
So cloud directly attacks those big issues of high CapEx and those underutilized siloed resources we talked about earlier. It makes IT more efficient financially and frees up funds for new projects, for growth. I mean, that financial shift alone sounds like a massive game changer.
Exactly. It's a direct response to those specific pain points. And yes, the financial model itself is incredibly powerful, but it goes beyond just cost savings. Cloud provides the inherent business agility that ensures quick time to market for new applications and services.
Speeding things up again.
Which leads directly to improved competitive advantage. Imagine being able to conceive, build, and launch a brand new e-commerce platform in just a few weeks instead of the year it might have taken traditionally.
That's huge.
It also profoundly simplifies IT infrastructure management because you're offloading cumbersome, time-consuming tasks like software updates, security patching, hardware renewals to the cloud provider. This drastically reduces complexity and the associated operational costs for the internal IT team. And importantly, it allows them, the internal IT staff, to shift their focus away from just managing infrastructure toward higher value activities.
Like what?
Like developing innovative applications that differentiate the business, optimizing critical business processes using technology, deepening that strategic partnership with the business units we talked about, becoming advisors and enablers.
So it elevates the role of IT.
It absolutely can. And look, it's not just theory. We see studies showing that organizations aggressively adopting cloud computing are actually 3 times more likely to be approaching their digital business goals and their infrastructure readiness goals compared to organizations that are lagging behind in cloud adoption.
Wow, 3 times more likely.
It's a clear, measurable differentiator in the market today.
That's a powerful statistic, but, and this feels important, IT transformation isn't just about buying new technology, is it? We've heard it said so many times. Technology alone isn't a silver bullet. It sounds like this transformation has to go much deeper than just adopting cloud services. It impacts the very fabric of how IT, maybe even the whole organization, works.
You've hit on a truly critical point there. And it's one that, honestly, often gets overlooked in the understandable rush to adopt cool new tech. IT transformation does not come from technology alone.
Well,
Simply buying cloud services, migrating some servers, without fundamentally changing how you operate, how your people work together, how your processes flow, what skills they have, that approach will yield limited benefits. Often it leads to frustration because you're not getting the promised value.
So you need more than just the tech.
Absolutely. It requires a fundamental transformation of IT operations, and that is all about transforming the people and the processes that actually deliver value to the business. IT skills need to be modernized, processes need to be streamlined, automated.
What kind of skills and processes?
Well, training IT staff in new cloud-native skills. Things like infrastructure as code, containerization, serverless computing, fostering a culture of continuous learning and collaboration, breaking down those old silos, automating manual, repetitive tasks wherever possible using cloud tools, adopting agile methodologies, embracing DevOps practices to improve flow between development and operations.
So it's a holistic change.
Exactly. The ultimate goal is to adopt a cloud operating model that involves integrated changes across all three aspects: people, process, and technology. Only when those objectives are achieved, when all three pillars are transformed together, can IT truly uncover new cost efficiencies, dramatically accelerate time to market, and deliver genuinely differentiated business models and capabilities to customers. That's how IT becomes a true engine of innovation for the entire organization, not just the department that keeps the servers running.
Cloud's concrete impact on addressing IT and business challenges.
Okay, let's really try and connect all the dots here then. We've identified some pretty profound business pressures, right? And the core IT challenges that just naturally arise when you're operating with those traditional models.
Right, the silos, the aging tech, the slow processes.
Exactly. Now, we've laid out how IT needs to transform into this service-centric organization and how cloud is this absolutely critical enabler for that shift. So how does embracing cloud computing concretely help overcome those specific, deep-seated IT and business challenges we detailed earlier? What are the direct, tangible benefits we're talking about, mapping back to those problems?
Okay, yeah, let's make those direct connections.
Mm.
If we look at the bigger picture, cloud solutions offer direct, powerful antidote to the very problems traditional IT faces. They provide specific remedies for each of those challenges.
Right, let's take them one by one. First up was aging facilities and outdated policies. How does cloud tackle that?
Okay. The cloud model provides rapid provisioning of IT resources, often, like we said, within minutes or even seconds. So imagine, instead of waiting weeks or months for hardware procurement, then installation, then configuration for a new project,
The old way.
.ET can instantly spin up virtual machines, databases, maybe deploy complex application stacks with just a few clicks in a cloud portal or via an automated script. This dramatically, fundamentally reduces the time to market that those aging, rigid internal processes and physical infrastructure limitations impose.
Well, so speed and agility.
Massive speed and agility.
Yeah.
Furthermore, the cloud provider manages all the underlying infrastructure: the physical servers, the complex cooling systems, the power, the networking gear, the data center security.
IT doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Right. This abstracts away the complexities of owning and maintaining physical hardware and facilities, meaning your internal IT team doesn't have to deal with aging server racks needing replacement or navigating multi-layered internal approval processes just to add more storage, or even worrying about the physical security of the data centers. The provider handles it.
So it really does cut through that bureaucratic red tape and those physical limitations. It essentially makes IT provisioning almost as fast as clicking a button. That's a huge shift in agility right there.
The fundamental shift.
Yeah.
Okay, next challenge, addressing shadow IT and mobile device management. How does cloud help here?
Yeah, that Wild West scenario.
With cloud services, applications and data reside centrally in the cloud provider's environment, but they can be accessed securely from anywhere, on pretty much any device: smartphones, tablets, laptops, whatever.
Okay.
This eliminates the dependency on specific company-issued endpoint devices. It fully supports the bring your own device, or BYOD trend, where employees prefer to use their personal devices for work.
Which is increasingly common.
Very common. And it dramatically streamlines mobile device management because the access point is the cloud service, managed centrally, rather than trying to lock down thousands of different physical devices.
So how does that curb shadow IT?
It helps bring shadow IT under a managed, secure umbrella. Because now, central IT can actually provide agile, secure, and easily consumable cloud services that meet the business unit's genuine needs for speed and flexibility. If IT can deliver what the business needs, quickly and securely via the cloud.
There's less incentive for them to go rogue.
Exactly. There's less incentive for them to bypass IT and acquire unmanaged, potentially risky solutions. IT becomes the easy, secure, and fast choice again.
That makes sense. It sounds like cloud empowers the business users while simultaneously giving IT back crucial visibility and control, turning what was a major risk into maybe an opportunity for better governance.
Precisely. Okay, third challenge. Meeting the scalability, security, and performance demands of those third platform applications, mobile, big data, etc.
Right, the apps that traditional infrastructure struggles with.
This is where cloud's essential characteristics, things like rapid elasticity and resource pooling, are absolute game changers. Rapid elasticity means you can dynamically scale resources, compute power, storage capacity, network bandwidth up or down based on real-time demand, almost instantaneously.
So you only pay for what you need when you need it.
Exactly. And you can handle huge, unexpected spikes. This directly addresses the inability of existing fixed IT equipment to support unpredictable growth or the high, wildly fluctuating performance requirements of modern applications. Think of a retail website during a huge Black Friday sale.
Yeah, traffic goes through the roof.
Or a streaming service when a massively popular new show drops. Cloud infrastructure can automatically scale to handle millions of concurrent users in minutes and then scale back down when the peak passes so you're not paying for idle capacity.
And security in that shared environment.
Good question. Secure multi-tenancy mechanisms in the cloud address those security concerns inherent in sharing infrastructure. They provide strong logical isolation between different customers or tenants.
Can you explain multi-tenancy simply?
Sure. Imagine you're living in a large apartment building. That building represents the cloud provider's infrastructure, shared by many tenants. Secure multi-tenancy ensure that your individual apartment representing your data and applications has its own strong locks, solid walls, and private utilities. Your stuff is kept totally separate and private from everyone else living in the same building, even though you share the foundation and roof.
Got it. So secure separation within a shared platform. That dynamic scaling is clearly a game changer for everything from, yes, a marketing campaign surge to those seasonal retail spikes. It must take away that constant worry of either over-provisioning and wasting money or under-provisioning and failing under load.
It absolutely does. It provides that flexibility. Okay, fourth challenge.
Right.
Breaking down that siloed infrastructure, the isolated kingdoms.
Right. The inefficient silos.
Instead of that traditional model with rigid vertical stacks for each application, cloud leverages advanced virtualization and resource pooling. It creates these massive shared pools of compute, storage, and network resources that can be sliced up and allocated dynamically.
So everyone draws from the same big pool.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
This multi-tenant model allows cloud providers to offer services at significantly lower costs. They benefit from huge economies of scale and achieve incredibly high resource utilization across their entire platform. This effectively moves organizations away from those fragmented, inefficient, isolated silos.
So resources become more fungible.
Exactly. Resources are fungible and can be dynamically allocated where they are needed most by the applications demanding them, rather than sitting idle in dedicated, isolated silos just waiting for one specific application to need them. It's like moving from all those separate specialized kitchens to one vast, shared, highly efficient central kitchen where ingredients and chefs can be deployed to make any dish on demand.
So it shifts IT's focus from managing lots of disparate pieces of hardware to managing these unified pools of resources, which just sounds inherently much more efficient, much more agile, and definitely more cost-effective.
It is, on all counts. Okay, finally, and this is crucial for many businesses, reducing capital expenditure, CapEx, and managing investment risk.
The big upfront costs.
Right. Cloud's pay-per-use or subscription models allow businesses to rent only the IT resources they need when they need them. This largely eliminates the need for those large upfront capital investments in hardware and software licenses.
Which can be a huge barrier.
It's a major barrier for many organizations, especially small and medium-sized businesses. They previously faced really high risks associated with acquiring new hardware and software. What if demand doesn't materialize? What if the tech becomes obsolete quickly?
Yeah, big bets that might not pay off.
By shifting to an operational expense model, or OpEx, where you pay as you go, cloud frees up critical capital, money that can now be used for innovation, investing in new products, new services, market expansion, R&D, rather than just tying up capital and infrastructure that loses value over time.
So it lowers the risk of trying new things.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
It significantly lowers the barrier to entry for new digital initiatives and actively encourages experimentation. Because the cost of failure, if an experiment doesn't pan out in a cloud model, is significantly lower than if you'd invested heavily in dedicated hardware for it.
That financial model alone, the shift from CapEx to OpEx and the reduced risk, it sounds like it can unlock so much potential for businesses. Especially those, who were previously hesitant to make those large, risky IT investments. It really does change the entire risk-reward calculation for innovation.
It fundamentally does. It enables a different way of thinking about investment and growth.
So what does this all really mean for you? Whether you're, leading an IT department, working within one, or maybe you're just someone trying to understand the pulse of modern business today. We've covered a lot of ground.
We certainly have.
We've navigated through those immense pressures of digital disruption, explored the specific, often deep-seated challenges faced by traditional IT, and hopefully revealed how cloud computing fundamentally transforms that landscape, enabling this a whole new era of agility and innovation.
And this raises, I think, an important question for all of us listening. Digital transformation. It's not just a buzzword. It really isn't. It's a fundamental shift in how organizations survive, compete, and thrive in this new economy.
Yeah.
And IT's role in that. It's no longer just about supporting the business from the sidelines. It's about actively enabling and, in many cases, driving the strategic objectives of the entire organization.
Taking a leadership role.
Exactly. Cloud computing, in its essence, it transforms IT from being potentially seen as a reactive cost center burdened by legacy challenges and slow manual processes into becoming a flexible, service-oriented powerhouse.
A powerhouse.
Yeah, a powerhouse capable of rapid innovation, incredible scalability, and delivering sustained competitive advantage.
Yeah.
It's really about moving from just keeping the lights on, managing hardware, basic operations, to actively shaping the future of the organization.
Yeah.
By delivering high-value, on-demand services that directly contribute to business growth and market leadership.
A future where IT, by truly embracing that service-centric, cloud-enabled operating model and crucially addressing its people and processes alongside the technology, really becomes the engine of digital innovation for the entire enterprise.
That's the goal. That's the potential.
So for your own journey, thinking about your own context, how do you envision shifting your perspective, or perhaps your team's focus, moving away from just managing individual siloed assets towards truly delivering high-value business services that drive your organization forward, and maybe thinking even smaller, more immediate, what single small step could you perhaps take next week to start moving in that direction? Whether that's exploring a new cloud service that could solve a current pain point, or maybe initiating a conversation about operational efficiency within your team, or perhaps simply committing to learning a new cloud skill yourself.
Something to mull over, definitely.
Yeah.
For your own deep dive after this one. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.